Well, hello there, and welcome to the guitar program, which now brings us up to lesson number 9 in your booklets. Now, this week, we're going to do the notes on the 5th string, which almost completes the first position. And we're also going to learn to count some faster notes, the 8th notes, and we'll see what they look like in music. We're also going to see what a sharp does to a note, and also a natural sign. And we're going to do a little bit of preparatory finger work for the Malagueña piece that we'll be starting next week. So let's, without further ado, get ourselves in tune. With the 6th string first, as always. Then the 5th string. Fourth string, the D. Third string, G. Second string, the B. And our top string. Okay. I hear some protests to the effect that I said I was giving you one significant new item each week, and this might seem rather more than one item. Well, I think the operative word is significant. Counting 8th notes is a new topic. The rest are very small things, quite easy to do. Learning the notes, for instance, on the 5th string is nothing very demanding. Okay, now the questions that come up at this time, one recurring one is that of how to divide the practice time. And this is an important one, so I'd like to consider that now with you. First of all, it isn't just the amount of time really that's important, it's how you apply it. And as a rough progression, this is how I'd like you to go about it. First of all, get your fingers warmed up. Just run over the exercises. Those sorts of things that we've been doing, just to get a nice clear sound and get the feel of the guitar and get your fingers just feeling comfortable on the strings. Do also chords, just comfortably, several chords together of the ones we went through, and a succession of arpeggios also. And you can experiment with different patterns too. And when you feel, after perhaps, say, 5 minutes of this, an honest 5 minutes, that you're beginning to get the feel of the guitar and the fingers beginning to work properly, then I want you to concentrate on what is the most difficult part of your lesson that you're practicing. For instance, last week we were going over those 2-line melodies, and obviously they're a little harder than single line, so that would represent the part of the lesson that perhaps takes the most concentration. So the logical thing would be to take some new examples of those and work your way through them carefully while you're still feeling fresh. Then the final phase of your playing should be just to, as it were, fool around with the guitar and enjoy it. At this point, you play any little things you may already know that you have memorized, and of course this becomes, from now on, very much more significant, because you're going to have actual solos and pieces to play that you will have memorized, and those will logically go into the last stage of your practice, which I don't want to be too much hard work. I want it to be just the really fun part of playing. So if you can divide it up like that, I think you'll find you'll get the most out of it. If you can get a half hour in, that's grand. An hour, of course, is better. But an honest half hour will do a tremendous amount for you, and you'll be amazed how much progress you can actually make with that. All right, let's get to the notes on the 5th string. The A, of course, we already know. And play these with me right away so we can get them fixed in the mind. Then on the 2nd fret, the B, and on the 3rd fret, the C. Once more to fix them, because we're going to do an exercise on them. Okay, open A at the 5th string. 2nd fret for the B, and at the 3rd fret, the C. Right, now let's do the exercise. This is number 37 in your booklets, and just a count of 3, and we'll do it together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, all with the thumb. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and hold it. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Remember those tie signs. You just play the first note, and then the second note you don't play it again, but you sustain for it and you count it out. Right, let's do it with the accompaniment now. All set? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now we come to the 8th notes. And first of all, let's take a look and see what an 8th note looks like. Now, the individual notes have those curved tails on them, but more frequently you'll see them in the form beamed together when you have more than one, and that they're conventionally joined by that thick beam sign. Since we now know about rests, we might as well learn the 8th note rest at the same moment, and that little affair that looks like a 7 is the one you remember for your 8th note rest. Now, how are we going to count them? They're twice as fast as quarter notes. And all the way, we've used our simple count, 1, 2, 3, 4, to give us the measure of the quarter notes. So, as we count quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. We now want something twice as fast for the 8th notes, so all we're going to do is put the word "and" between each of the number counts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And when you play in time to that, you get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it has a very convenient way of doubling up the speed for us. All right, take a look at the chart there. See the upper line, and let's play these again to fix it in the mind. Play the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, with the same tempo, let's do the 8th notes. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Got the idea? Let's try it in a simple exercise. And basically, every time we see a pair of 8th notes, we will count the normal number count and then the "and" to take care of the faster note. So for this, let's look at exercise 38 in the books, which is a familiar tune probably to many of you, Flow Gently, Sweet Afton by James Spillman. And we'll count it as we go, and we'll go slowly, so that by the time we've done it, I think you'll see what this is all about. A count of 2, and you come in on 3, because we've got to pick up here. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and coming up. 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, it probably came on you a little bit suddenly in the first measure there. Let's go back and let's take a look at that first measure again, so that this time we're absolutely sure we're going to get it. All right, we had the pickup note, the G, and then 1 was the C, and the count of 2, and then the 2/8 notes, 3 and, the and giving us the extra note. And just this time, just play that measure for me. Okay? I'll give you 1, 2, 3, and I want you to just play that first complete measure and see if you get the 2 notes in the correct time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and. Got it? All right, this time we'll try it with some accompaniment, and I'll be playing along with you so you'll get the hang of the time. Remember, a count of 2, and you come in on the pickup on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'd like to do one more, actually. All right so far? Yeah, but let's do one more and just fix it in the mind. Let's do the Ash Grove, which is exercise 39 in your books. And we did a version of it before, if you remember, a simplified one. Now we'll do the full version with all the eighth notes. All right, a count of 2, and you're in on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Remember this one? 2, 3. Now watch out. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Right, you may have had a little trouble actually playing them since they're faster. I know there's 2 things to do. There's the counting and the playing. But remember, there's always the practice time during the week. Let's do this one once more, a little accompaniment with it. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now, I want to look now at the tune of Meadowlands, which you're going to be doing actually in two parts to continue your two-part reading study. And you're going to have fun with it, I think, because it's a known tune and you're going to play both the melody and the bass. But let's look at the melody of it first, because here we come to introduce a sharp. And here we have it in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th measure. You notice the notes. Now the G has a sharp sign against it. All right, sharps are very easy on the guitar compared to the piano, where you have to think of the black and white notes and so on. In the guitar, all you do for a note to be sharp is you raise it by 1 fret. So if the 3rd string open is G, then 1 fret up at the 1st fret is G sharp. And that works for anything. If the top string is F, then F sharp is 1 fret higher. And that's all you have to remember in that. Now, how do you, suppose you've made the note sharp and you then want to negative that sharp so that it goes back to being an ordinary one again. All right, we have what we call the natural sign. And if you look at the music again, you see in the next measure, you've got the natural sign, there's the A, and then natural sign beside the G, and that tells you that it's going to be an ordinary G and not sharped anymore. Now, as a general rule, a note reverts in the next measure anyway, i.e. it wouldn't be strictly necessary to put that natural sign. I've put it there for you so that you can recognize it. But normally, if we make a note sharp within a measure and then we want it naturaled or not sharped, then we have to use that sign. But once we pass the measure line, you are expected to know that the note has reverted to its normal unsharped state. All right, let's play it through and you'll see what I mean. Let's just do the melody together on this one. All right? Count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Recognize the tune? 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, actually what I want you to do is to study Meadowlands in two parts, because if you do that, it's a sort of culmination of everything we've been doing in the last 2 weeks. You'll be doing music in 2 lines, you'll be counting eighth notes, and you'll also be negotiating sharps and natural signs. I'll just give you a quick idea of how it sounds in the full version. And I think it'll be fun for you because it's the first piece that really sounds like something for you. Here's how it goes. I'm going to let you flail away at that for a week, and next week we'll go into it in considerable detail and see how you got on. What I want to pass on to now is a sort of dual-purpose exercise that I have. I wanted to give you something to get a thorough practice in the notes on the 5th string. And if you take a look at the exercise, you'll see that what it consists of is basically a series of bass notes with interspersed between all of them just a treble repeated open E note. Now, what I'd like to do is first read through with you just the bass line. Ignore all the upper notes, and let's just go through the bass and see if we can pick out those notes. And just do them on the beat with me. I'll say 1, 2, 3, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that way. Okay? Then we're going to stick the notes in between, and you'll see the interesting effect, I think. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just play the pointer notes. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. All right, so far. You would say just a simple bass note exercise, such as we've been doing for the 4th and 5th strings. But when you put an open E between each of the notes you play with the thumb, incidentally, those should all be played with the thumb, including that moment when you come up onto the 3rd string, because when you do the middle finger top notes with it, you'll find it makes sense. You get a most interesting effect when you put these notes in between, which is sound something like this. And this is a very typical guitaristic effect. You will see it with the single notes like that, other times 2 notes. And so on. And I'd like you to just have fun with this. Use it mainly to learn your lower notes, but try the upper ones as well. All right, let's just do a little bit of that to make sure that you see how it works. Middle finger on the top string, and thumb ready on the 5th string, and we play the bass notes, and between every one of them we just play an open E with the middle finger. Got it? All right, here we go. I'll give you 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 1 and 2 and 3 So, plenty of practice on that one, because you've got a chance now to count out your 8th notes accurately and also to become thoroughly conversant with the 5th string. Also, I want you this week to work still on your 2-part reading. So you've got these 3 things: 8th notes, 2-part reading, and 5th string, to get thoroughly reinforced, if you will, this week. Okay, I'd like to play a piece for you before we finish. It's by Fernando Sor, who I mentioned to you was one of the most important guitar composers of the classical period of the guitar in the early 19th century. He wrote a number of concert pieces, of course, but he also wrote a lot of attractive didactic studies, and one of them is this little study in B minor that you might expect to play before too long. Study in B minor.